Yeah, this one is going to be fucking based. So the video title is The Pussification of Video Games Part 2.
All right, if you're here from Reddit, you might need to change your tampon for this one. Boy.
Oh, man.
Boys, all I'm trying to figure out is how we went from games like this.
Yeah.
I just lost my fucking brother, all right? You hear that? My brother. You and your tower and all this fucking emulsion can go to hell.
Jesus.
Dad, I really do.
Here, you point it in that direction, and you pull this to make it go bang.
Listen, do I come to your job and tell you how to murder civilians?
What?
No. So don't come to my job and tell me how to do mine.
I swear to you, Centurion, Rome will not fall. Not today. Today, we fight.
And the reason why, by the way, it's literally just this simple. It was games made by guys for guys. Like, if you're making a video game and it's about defending the glory of Rome, I'm sorry, but your target audience is men between the ages of 15 to 55, exclusively. That's it.
This is in 2025.
What's this? They say gay rainbow barf? Dead by gay light? Mortal cuckback? Oh, jeez. Cringe, Jesus. Splitgate 2, we're trans. This is Call of Duty now? This needs to stop. This is one of the reasons Battlefield was popping off.
Can somebody explain to me why everything everywhere has to be gay now? Can I go 2 seconds without some degenerate, non-binary, Hello Kitty-ass nonsense in my face telling me how their husband's boyfriend transitioned? I'm sorry if this hurts your fifis, but you can't be gay and masculine.
I don't know about that. I feel like Dion from Final Fantasy 16 was gay and masculine for sure. But I think that it's not, the characters that are gay and masculine are the ones that being gay isn't the reason why you think about them. There's plenty of examples of that, I think. I could probably think of more. I mean, it doesn't sound good if I can only think of one right now off the top of my head. But overall, I think that that's not really the reason why a character's bad. Either way, my point is that it's made by people that are just lame. They're lame and they're weird. And so their idea of representation is a minstrel version of a gay person or a minority. That's the reason why. They don't even, like, this is like, they don't even know what they're like in real life.
When I was first getting into Xbox in 2001, every game was about war and about being a Chad. Now every game seems like it was made by women and dudes with weak arms. If you...
I'm going to be honest. I agree with them. I do. I agree with him. I think that there is a massive amount. Like, I am a guy, and I want video games made for guys. That means that the main character is, named, John Smith or John Wick, and he has a gun, and his primary goals are protecting his family, upholding his duty, and being able to protect his country or, his band of brothers. And every girl in the story is hot, except for the bad ones. They're also hot. They're goth, and so they're really hot. That's it.
Look back at the 2000s, we really had everything. Dante and Devil May Cry, an absolute unit. GTA, Yakuza, Metal Gear, Chad of War, Uncharted, SOCOM. Then the Xbox was more shooter-focused. Halo, Call of Duty, Gears.
It was actually crazy. This is the fight against, I think her name is Minstrel, in Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. It was crazy for me to play this game and realize how far we've fallen. I didn't realize how bad it was until I played Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, and it was scary.
Last year, I made a video called "The Pussification of Video Games," and
People got so mad about me watching that game. That video. They were so mad about that.
Consider this part 2 to that video.
Yeah.
I want to give you some fresh examples of the pussification of modern video games and how this happened. You guys are probably tired of me talking about Red Dead 2 and Last of Us constantly, so I'm going to try to throw in some fresh examples. In this video, we're going to take a look at Spider-Man.
How Peter got cucked, the pussification of Rainbow Six, and more modern slop. Great.
But first, are you boys tired of laggy, choppy gameplay on your clown shoes iPad?
No.
It's time to man up and get a dedicated gaming tablet like the Red Magic Astra gaming tablet. One of the most egregious examples of the demasculinization of a man is 2023's Spider-Cuck 2 exclusively on the PS5. Spider-Man 2018 was much more of a 2000s game.
Yeah.
Peter was the hero of his own story. This is why I bought a box that says Spider-Man on it. I want to play...
Is it true that in Spider-Man 2, one of the missions is running around as a deaf girl spray painting things on walls? Is that actually true?
But oh, you bigoted white man. Insomniac Games is going to get you to pay $80 to watch your hero get cucked. And we all fell for it. This is why, by the way, I always say Sony is just as bad and just as woke as Xbox. Now look, just to be clear, I have no issue with Miles Morales as a character, and I have no issue with black characters in games. Final Fantasy VII, Gears, Walking Dead, all great games. What we take issue with is that Spider-Man 2 is supposed to be a story about Peter, being a superhero. This is why I bought the game. Instead, we play a game in which MJ and Miles Morales are the heroes. They are constantly saving Peter.
I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to, in a Spider-Man game, have you play as MJ. Nobody wants to play as her. It's not about her. What is she going to do? Bake cookies? The fuck is this? Nobody asked for this. It's stupid. Yeah, nobody wants this.
Because they are faster, smarter, stronger, and more competent than Peter throughout the entire game. In literally every boss battle in Spider-Man 2, Peter is either rescued by Miles or rescued by ugly-ass girl boss MJ. Peter is
that true?
depicted throughout Spider-Man 2 as childish, vengeful, and impotent. Miles, in every instance, is shown as more competent, more wise, more moral, and just a better person in general.
Jesus.
I can't let this go. I'm finally everything everyone needs me to be.
Yeah, you don't even answer my calls anymore, man. And what about MJ? You could have killed her. I know you're hurting, Pete, but you're better than this.
I know, but...
This is what the woke activists at Insomniac believe, though. They fetishize black people and say that black people are inherently better and more moral than white people.
Yep. I just had to check.
It's the most insane
maybe
anti-white propaganda you'll ever see in a game. Insomniac Studios hates white people. In their second big encounter with a boss, Peter is unable to beat Venom. Miles comes in and easily beats Venom's ass. Just for fun, I asked AI, why was the symbiote able to possess Peter and not Miles? The answer was hilarious. Because Peter was mentally weak and Miles is mentally strong.
Seems pretty simple.
You can't make this stuff up.
I think that the problem also is that these stories are always told through like this one-dimensional way. So like when every story creates a dichotomy like this where like one character is this way, the other character is the other way, and it's constantly the male character that's problematic or a white character that's problematic or a female or non-white character that's not, people start to see a pattern. And I think that after they see that pattern enough times, they end up not taking it seriously and they end up the doctor's head. What the fuck is she doing? Yeah. And so every time that you see a character that is from a certain identity or a certain gender or race or anything like that, every time you see one of those characters, you're not looking at it in an authentic way. You're looking at it in a way of like, okay, what are they trying to hide? It's bad writing? Yeah, basically, right?
Is shown as someone who needs to be saved, easily dominated by the symbiote, and driven by revenge.
Whoa.
Also throughout the game, Miles is shown as perfect without any flaws, never motivated by revenge, and always the virtuous and moral good one. I get that a character with no flaws is boring, but why did Peter have all the flaws in his own game while Miles had none? But guys, this is what happens when you let satanic, homo, LGBTQ propagandists like the entire staff of Insomniac make a game. You get...
Bro, this guy is on the warpath. Oh my God.
Anti-white, anti-male propaganda like Spider-Man 2. Oh, and if you think the Wolverine game isn't going to be ultra woke, you are coping hard, my friend. That. So let's look at Spidey 1 now. While it would be a stretch to call Spider-Man 2018 based, I think it's true that Spidey 1 is a pro-male game, while Spidey 2 is very much an anti-white and anti-male game.
I can't really speak a lot to Spider-Man. I didn't really play it, so that's why I was asking you guys. I don't really know a lot about this one.
Peter actually saves MJ several times in the first game, you know, the way God intended it. Men saving women because this is what we are made to do, and we have bigger arms.
The thing is that it's like it's bad to say this, but he's completely right. Obviously, this is true. Yep, he's right.
MJ still plays a role in Spidey 1, but she's just a reporter.
And it's also part of the male power fantasy. Like, a lot of guys fantasize about, you know, saving people or, you know, like saving some damsel in distress. That's why movies like that are so popular, is that it plays into the male power fantasy.
She's working in her own way instead of being a girl boss and trying to use...
It's a female power fantasy too? Yeah, sure. But like for like a fraction of the people. Right? Like you're comparing a mountain to a molehill. Like, yes, obviously there's some women that feel that way too, but in general, like I think that the lie that men and women's brains work the same and they look for the same things in media, I think is partially true, but generally not true. I think that there's definitely, and Japanese you know, comics, I think that they've just defined this, and that's why literally you have shonens, excuse me, that literally means it's like a comic for young boys. And the reason why is because they know who their audience is, and they make it for that audience.
Peter's male authority. Peter faces off and defeats Martin Lee, and then later on his own friend, mentor, and role model, Dr. Octopus. In the game's final moments, the villains unleash Devil's Breath on the city, and Peter must decide whether to save the people of New York or save his own flesh and blood, Aunt May. In a moment of heroic sacrifice, Peter chooses to save the city over Aunt May, who is essentially like his own mother. Despite a couple of woke things in it, Spidey 2018 is an amazing game, and it's about the heroic sacrifices we must make in order to become men. Too bad they completely cucked Peter Parker and made him a mouthpiece for gay propaganda in 2023's Spider-Man 2.
I haven't played the game, but I don't know if this is true or not. Holy shit.
Does anybody remember the OG Rainbow Six games on PS2 and Xbox, and then later on 360 and PS3? Bro, these games were so badass. I'm a strong believer that all I need to do is listen to the menu music of a game, and it tells me everything about the game I need to know.
I'm thinking of Halo 1.
Also, look at these covers, dude. Squad-based counter-terror, my dude. This was the plot for Rainbow Six Lockdown. In 2009, Rainbow, led by John Clark, deploys the Alpha Team, commanded by Ding Chavez, to rescue the South African president from a rebel army surrounding Pretoria.
Got him.
Elsewhere in the city, the Global Liberation Front, an anti-Western left-wing terrorist organization led by Bastian Vanderwall, steals lead.
So, bro, like, that's actually the... So, oh my God. Nowadays, it'd be the opposite.
A nanite aerosol bioweapon that causes massive hemorrhaging and has a 100% fatality rate.
The game is dope.
Like, dude, that sounds like a game I want to play. And pretty much all of the Rainbow Six games had plots kind of like this. Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2 are the ones most people are familiar with. Terrorist Hunt was very fun, as was the multiplayer. These games weren't like Call of Duty at all. If you just rushed in and started firing, you and your whole team would die immediately. Yeah. You had to carefully breach doors. You were able to set your guys up on multiple doors at once so you could attack targets from multiple angles at once, which would lead to much fewer
There were a lot of games like that were like squad-based tactical games, but I feel like people just got retarded and they can't play those anymore.
So what happened to Rainbow Six?
Yeah, they just can't do it.
Gay-ass Six Siege happened. Rainbow Six Siege came out in 2015, and it's a gay game where you could blow off some steam with the girls at the end of a long day. So like 50% of the operators...
Who would wear pink in a military shooter game? Yeah, I think that a lot of the like the outfits and everything, like I think this kind of stuff should stay in Fortnite. It just breaks the immersion and it makes the game feel weird.
in Siege are women. Boys, out of the probably 200 operators in Rainbow Six games from 1998 to 2008, do you know how many were women?
0.
Like 2 out of 200. And that's actually realistic.
Yeah.
In real life, in the real world of PMCs, it's maybe like 1% women in combat roles. So
obviously, I'll tell you, anytime that I see a military game and there's like an emphasis on like women being soldiers, I again just think it's going to be garbage. Sorry, I do. I think it's instantly going to be garbage.
What we saw with Six Siege and the fact Angela Bassett was their commander now is a pussification and a gayification and a homoification of the entire Rainbow Six series. But nobody cares, and you have brain-rotted Zoomers just eating this game up and still playing it because nobody gives a flip about realism or masculinity or authenticity anymore.
I think people do. They do care. It's just that people care about the gameplay too. Like, I mean, Fortnite is popular. That's not realistic at all. I mean, if the game has good gameplay, people will overlook woke elements of a game. Like, woke content can't make a good game bad, and it can't make a bad game good. But it can make a good game better, or it could make a bad game worse. That's the difference.
But it gets worse. So the original Six Siege had you fighting the White Masks. All of the gameplay and multiplayer stuff you were doing was just to train for new... The White Masks were one of the threats. And fighting the White Masks was a pretty fun PvE game mode that they later removed from the game. Okay, fine, pretty standard stuff. But in 2020 was when Six Siege really jumped the shark. According to the official lore of Six Siege, in 2020, Angela Bassett retires and puts this cringe millennial hipster dude named Harry, and he's brought in as the new leader of Rainbow Six. That's right, this dude who looks like a barista and has a podcast about his cats is now the leader of Rainbow Six.
Is this true? Oh my god. Why would they do that? It's so weird. What?
Bro, I can't do this.
Why would you do this?
So again, you're not going to believe this junk, but this is all part of the official lore of Six Siege now.
Yeah.
In 2020, hipster millennial Harry has the brilliant idea to take Rainbow Six, give them all airsoft guns, and turn what they do into a live competition event on stage.
Why can't you just go invade South Africa again and destroy a far-left communist group? What is this?
So I'm sure huge Siege fans are like, duh, Andy, this happened a while ago. But look, I don't really follow this game or the story anymore, and so just recently found this out. I just think it's hilarious that this game is full of gay operators and girl bosses, and you aren't even fighting terrorism anymore, and you guys keep playing.
See, I'll tell you why. The reason why is because they don't want to do fighting terrorism because it's political now. That's the reason why, and everybody knows it. That's why they're not doing it. And when I know that, this is one thing I've noticed with like video games, this is my opinion, is that when I know a video game is only telling a story in a certain way, because it's worried about having that thing go ahead and, like, for example, like try to, you know, it's going to change things, or it's going to like make people react in a negative way. That's whenever I know for sure that it's probably just going to be garbage. Like, the integrity of the story at that point is now kind of gone.
Can Rainbow Six get any worse? Of course it can. Osa was added in 2021 as the game's first man to put on a dress. In 2023, Tubaro was added as the first woman in the game to pretend to be a man. Guys, if you're still playing Rainbow Six Siege, it's time to call your dad on the phone and tell him that his son is gay now. I'm sorry. Rainbow Six is full of girl bosses.
I don't think, like, I mean, in my opinion, I don't think it's really a big deal, right? I don't care about this kind of stuff a whole lot, but I do think it's true that the majority of the implementation of it isn't necessarily for the average person that's playing the game. It's for appeasing like journalists, or for making the development team happy or something like that. And I think that when you have I do, well, that's fine. You can decide whatever you want personally, right? Like, I will play a video game if it plays well, and I will not play a video game if it doesn't play well. It's literally that simple to me. However, the aesthetic of a game does matter. And this is absolutely not something that's being made for your traditional male audience for Rainbow Six. Like, that's really, I mean, if you go, I bet if you looked at Rainbow Six YouTube videos and you looked at the back-end analytics for those, you'd be looking at an over 90% ratio of men that are watching them. Probably higher than that.
It's fully gay and woke as a brand now. Yeah. Just go play Squad and Insurgency and Ready or Not if you want a real game. On the topic of Tom Clancy, I was chuckling recently at this terrible dialogue in The Division 2 that shows this cucked man. Watch this.
Don't be such a baby.
It hurts.
Yeah, well, maybe you shouldn't have punched a wall.
Better a wall than Sarah's face.
She deserves it.
Ow!
You're fine. It's not broken.
Or is every guy a cook and every woman? See, this is I've noticed this a lot too. I think this is something I noticed in Warcraft recently. Is that like they very commonly like portray men as like flawed characters, and they don't portray women as flawed characters even nearly as much. And oftentimes men are portrayed as somehow incompetent, stupid, evil, bad, misguided, or something like that. It's propaganda. Yeah, I think so.
Look, you left that key around my neck, and you never thought to tell me what it was protecting?
Guys, why is every modern male character in video games like this? This ugly bull dyke over here is basically the man in the situation. She's the one leading. She's the one being a badass. The guy is like, owie, my fingies hurt. Ooh, where is there a big girl boss that will help me? I'm such a cuck. But guys, this is what Ubisoft has done again and again with their games. I actually don't even want Ubisoft.
I think at the end of the day, I mean, this is like, it's weird. It's certainly weird. And it's 12-year-old games that made 12-year-old devs that made better game concepts. Well, yeah, it's because these people have the mind of a 10-year-old. And again, I think that it would be okay if this happens sometimes, but it seems like these types of things are happening in games a lot because you have companies that are existing outside of the sphere of influence of like Western like journalism and culture. They're effectively getting removed. Because you have games like Black Myth Wukong or any of these like Korean games that are coming out, or Genshin Impact, for example, and these games totally move the window, and they make it to where you don't have to play a game that patronizes you and talks down to you. And I think that really that's the main reason why you're seeing video games changing back. It's because those games that are not patronizing, that aren't a lecture, that don't include identity elements for no reason, those video games are the ones that are successful. Expedition 33 was great. Well, Expedition 33 is a great example of how to write good female characters and how to introduce, like, Expedition 33, good storytelling transcends gender, I think, in a lot of cases. But that doesn't necessarily mean that gender is something that doesn't play a role at all. Obviously, in Expedition 33, gender does play a role. It plays a role in the storytelling of the entire game. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad or a good thing. It's just simply an element of storytelling. But I think that when you try to tell stories and you don't even consider that at all, and I think this is one thing that they do, is that the way that a lot of these Western studios, and this is especially true with American studios, is that they try to write stories, is what they end up doing is they're writing a story and they're taking a male character and they're just turning it into a female character. That's it. That's the only change they make. But the difference is that the way that you write a male character is different than the way that you write a female character, because men and women are fundamentally different. So if you just change the skin on the character, it totally alters the dynamic of what's realistic.
Video games have always been about male wish fulfillment. Yeah. Xbox wonders why they had to lay off 9,000 people this year. It's because you quit making video games about male fantasy and you put a bunch of gay nonsense in your games. It's
like, I mean, I'm sorry, but Gears of War and Halo, those are for guys. Those are guy games. Xbox was the guy console. Abso-fucking-lutely.
But in closing here, I want to talk about the real reason for the pussification of video games, and it's a couple things. Number one, we let too many women into the video game industry. If you look at this chart here, women have been...
I think, look. It's I don't entirely agree with this, right? I mean, like, I think that women can write good stories and they can make good games too. But the problem is that when your hiring process is based off of ideology and you're hiring people through that, then you're going to have a problem.
Trending more and more liberal in America the past 20 years. And the big problem is that we have been hiring and allowing these liberal women into our hobbies. Although I love Last of Us, which came out in 2013, Games like Last of Us and Life is Strange in 2014 started this whole movement of people talking about, quote, empathy in video games. Video games are no longer about male fantasy. They're, quote, art now. Games are...
That's fucking true. Holy shit, that is true. Yeah, especially video games that are trying to be Hollywood. The only person who gets a pass on that is Kojima. Nobody else gets it. That's it.
Video games are not about empathy. They're not about being some trans goblin. They're not about learning from people different than us. Video games that men will go out and pay $70 for have always been about one thing: male wish fulfillment. We want to be the hero. We want to be at the center. We want to blow shit up. This is our hobby, and it is our right to do that. If games will simply get back to this simple stuff...
I think this is true, and this will always be true. And you look at the video games that are massively successful, and they all follow this paradigm. They all do. I mean, you can't have that many, points on a line, on a graph and not say there's a line.
They will be successful again.
Yeah.
But as long as Sony and Xbox keep chasing this non-existent, gender-confused female trans audience, they're going to continue to fail. All right, boys, I'm out.
Yeah, I think that a lot of that's true. I don't agree with everything in this video, but in a general sense, I do agree, is that whenever you're making video games, you have to make a game for a target audience. And I think that especially with military shooters, you already have a very, very, very defined male audience there. There's the video right there. Sounds like entitlement. Games are a hobby for everyone. It is entitlement. It absolutely is. Yeah, people want to have the game be about and made for them. It's not, is that crazy, really, for you to imagine that people want to see a video game made for them? Obviously, it's true. I mean, it has to be true. It just makes sense that it's true. Every character should have flaws. I think that characters can have flaws. It's not really, I don't think characters are good or bad because they do or don't have flaws. Right? Like, that's my personal opinion, is I don't really see it that way at all. I don't think that you can just write good characters. Like, I think that, yeah, there's a degree of that, and it's important to do that, but to act like men and women are looking for the same thing out of stories and out of characters, and especially, like, protagonists to play as, I think that you're being delusional. I do. I think it's delusional. And also, like, writing a good male character is not the same as writing a good female character. And modern media's obsession with trying to make it seem like they're interchangeable, I think the only thing that they've done is that they've totally confused everybody. They've confused themselves even.